earlier today, we were on the internet and we came across something that was actually really, really cool. So this was a video where essentially it was a YouTuber.
It's better not be about cats, Rory.
The what?
It's better not be about cats.
It's not about cats.
Okay.
That's my private time, not work time. Jeez. So this was a YouTuber or YouTube channel by the name of Dark Pixel. And what they'd essentially done is create a trailer for a game where they'd mashed up Star Wars and Mario Kart together.
Excellent.
Now, I was a little skeptical as well, because if someone pitches you that idea for a game,
Yeah.
I don't know, it could be a
Why?
bit tacky. It
I'd
could
be
be a
well
bit
up for that.
tacky. There's a lot of Star Wars games that, maybe shouldn't have been made. I won't go into naming any names, because that's mean. But some of them are a little bit iffy.
Okay.
So this was a bit of a tough sell to me, but
Okay.
it looks amazing. It looks so cool. You got all the characters from the Mario Kart games riding about in Y-Wings, X-Wings, TIE Fighters. I think Slave 1 is in there as well.
Very cool.
Using the items from Mario Kart, but like going through the Death Star, going over Hoth. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
The only problem is this is a game we're never going to see.
Okay.
We're never going to see.
Sadness.
You can quote me on that. We're never going to see that.
comes from the light.
And unfortunately, that's not the only Star Wars game that we're never going to see.
Ooh.
Because there's been a history of Star Wars games that have made it almost all the way up to release.
Yeah.
And then
And what happened?
shot down like a TIE fighter.
Did you get rid of them?
I got rid of them, yeah. Because just weren't up to
Jesus
snuff.
Christ, Rory.
So, I'm
Okay,
going
so
to take you...
what are these games? Unless, obviously, we haven't put Star Wars 13 on this. Probably one of the most famous cancelled Star Wars games, I think. Also, might be coming back. Who knows?
Who knows? But we don't need the heartbreak of talking about it again. It's covered.
We do not. So what have you got for us then?
So, I'm going to take us back to a time called 1983.
Okay.
Where there was a shoot 'em up game for Atari in the works. Now, this was called Star Wars Return of the Jedi Ewok Adventure.
Sweet.
Now, do you have any idea why this game would be cancelled? This was essentially a game where you played as an Ewok in the Ewok military, where you were a hang glide operator.
The Ewok Marines?
The Ewok Marines. The Eweens, I think it's called, where you glide through the forests, and the end goal is to take out a shield generator.
Okay.
Number one, maybe stop building the shield generators near where Ewoks live, because they seem to enjoy destroying those things. There was only one physical copy of the game ever made because the controls were insanely convoluted. And I think at the time, obviously we've come a long way since,
But you could go on a hang glider.
1983. You could go on a hang glider.
I mean, be an Ewok on a hang glider.
Yeah.
Why is this game not being made?
You could also throw rocks at people.
Excellent.
As well, which is great if you don't want to do that in real life. Only one was ever made, and one of the developers gave that only copy to his son.
Oh.
I know. And then he sold it for money. He did, yeah.
Seriously?
He sold it for under £2,000, I think, as well. So, I don't know, maybe hang on to that one.
I probably wouldn't have bought that.
Did you think this would be a game that you would be interested in?
Ewoks hang gliding around destroying shield generators? Heck yes, Rory.
Think so?
Yeah,
think
of course.
so. All right, well,
on,
let's
man.
move straight on to our next cancelled game.
Okay. Rebel Warrior.
Yeah, so...
This is the one that I kind of look at. And you
Okay.
take control of a Wookiee. In the early days where Wookiees were like enslaved and they used them for really naughty things.
Ooh.
And basically you kind of would take control, from what I understand, of a Wookiee who wanted to be a rebel. Rebel Warrior, that's where the name comes
You look like
in.
you're trying to take control of a Wookiee right now.
I am. And he would basically be like Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur? That sounds so fucking Welsh. You'd basically be Ben-Hur. I kind of like to see that because it's a good storyline that you'd have to convey without much dialogue, really. All the dialogue that you'd understand would have to come from other people, which you'd assume is all the naughty people.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Legend of Zelda treatment right there. Protagonist that doesn't speak.
That's a very good point. Yeah, well, it does speak, just makes a bunch of noises and stuff.
Like Wookiees going like...
But, I mean, we have it, it's got to be a Wookiee coming up in Battlefront, I reckon.
Yes.
Like-
Yeah. I mean, you've already got the bowcaster, so it's kind
Exactly.
of...
Yeah.
You got the bowcaster. You want to talk Battlefront, guys? We can talk all day. Fine.
All right, what else we got then?
We have Star Wars Attack Squadrons.
Sweet.
Now, this game actually made it to beta in 2014.
Nice.
It's very
Feel
similar
your facts.
to... I know, right?
Who do you think you are?
Better than Krupp's, that's her.
Wow.
So this game actually made it to beta. It's a lot like the Rogue Squadron games. So if you played any of those before, it's all kind of aerial-based combat, PvP. I think the most popular game modes was essentially just deathmatch. 2 teams fighting off in space.
Yeah.
The only problem with these games is it always seems like a much better idea than a game. Like if you tell someone like, 2 sides, it's like a big space battle.
Yeah.
That sounds quite exciting. If you've played Battlefront, which they do it quite well, to be honest, but space battles aren't that exciting. They're really
Well, they're
not.
really hard.
They're really hard. And then what it usually is you both like go past and then swivel around to face each other again. And it's like, what's that medieval game with
Duel.
No. The medieval
Jousting.
jousting. It's like jousting essentially.
Yeah.
You just do a lap and come at each other and shoot and then kind of like peel off. And then if no one dies or you don't crash into each other,
You got to go up and around and do it again.
So unfortunately, after the beta, it was cancelled. But it did look interesting, and there was a lot of customization. You could kind of like customize your own ships, build all your own stats.
Yeah.
But didn't make it.
Didn't make it, unfortunately.
Would you
I
play
don't
that
mind
game?
Not really.
I think I would have done this, tried the beta, and then probably not.
Sacked it off.
Sacked it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Smuggler then. This is another one I really like. So it's really titled Scum and Villainy, after the famous quote. So this is more focused on like stealthy and sort of smuggling things, as the name would suggest.
Okay.
And it was also like focused on like character building and also building your crew as well. So you're like sending crew out to do different things. How cool does that sound?
So is this like a team management game?
Kind of, yeah. But then it also, there's not many images of it. But
Okay.
it would also be like, you actually also play yourself as well. So maybe it'd be kind of like Assassin's Creed Revelations, where it's your Brotherhood, where you're like, also maybe Revelations, I don't know. There's too many Assassin's Creed games. Where basically you control of one person, then you can send out your brothers to do other stuff as well.
That would be pretty cool.
that'd
like
be
your
really
your little team.
I like that little team management system.
I do like a lot of games like that have
Yeah.
like sub management where you can almost like send people out to do your own chores and then you gather resources, gather levels.
Chores,
That'll be
chore
awesome.
games.
Chore
That'd be
games.
good.
I don't do chores in real life, so this,
Unfortunately,
I need
that
an
one was shit canned in 2005.
Why? Do we have an explanation?
Nope,
Not up to scratch.
not good enough.
The team wasn't
People didn't
performing.
wanna. Maybe
That's
that's
a good
what it
one,
was.
see?
All right, what else then?
We have Star Wars Battle of the Sith Lords.
Right, okay.
This looked amazing.
I thought this was called something else.
It had two different names. I think it was it had two. I think it was called Maul at one point,
Yeah.
or Darth Maul, and then another time it was called Damage,
Damage.
something like that. But those are both development
Damolage.
names.
Huh?
This is you at the board meeting, guys. We need something. We need something.
No, this looks badass.
Yeah, it looked incredible.
Mm.
So it was in development by a studio called Red Fly Studio, and they were actually contracted by LucasArts to
Yeah.
make a Darth Maul game. But no more narrative was really. It was very, very messy in production.
Yeah, like they didn't really know what they were doing, right? It was just called they just give him a title called Battle of Sith Lords and like, yeah, go off and do something. Like,
Yeah.
shall we make a Darth Maul game?
People like Darth Maul. He's pretty
Yeah.
good. Got two sides. That's better than one.
Yeah.
So it eventually got to the point where one of the narratives that was actually being thrown around was Darth Maul working with Darth Talon.
Okay.
Now, I think there's like 170 years between them.
Right.
So it was they was either going to have to be a clone or a descendant of Darth Maul.
Right, okay.
Baby Maul.
Right.
What's smaller than a Maul? Darth Shop? Darth Store? Something like.
Oh, Rory. Oh, Rory.
So obviously that didn't work out. It didn't really work out. So
Yeah.
it got to the point where LucasArts wouldn't sign off on things.
Bastards.
Because that narrative already sounds a bit muddy, a bit strange. So eventually, canned, scratched.
I like the footage though. It looks really good. It looks really violent.
It looks-
It looks like there's loads of like arms and stuff flying off.
It looks
heads
very
being
fluid.
lopped
Like,
off.
like the plus of having Darth Maul as your character is
Yeah.
that you actually do have the longer
Yeah, the
lightsabers,
double-ended
more like
lightsaber,
staff.
yeah.
So it's not kind of just like a hitting motion. It's
Yeah.
very spinny, and it reminded me of the footage which you can watch online. Of like, did you ever play the Matrix game Path of Neo?
Yeah.
Like that, like lots of fighting,
Okay,
cool,
right,
swivelly,
yeah.
like almost like when you're making contact with people, you can see the detail. Like he was like lobbing off heads and
Yeah.
all these flips and things. It looked really cool
All right.
compared to just regular shoot 'em up Star Wars games, which we have been flooded with over the years.
I put this one in there. I mean, mostly because you wanted to do a list with 4 in it.
Well, yeah,
And I told you
the best.
nobody does a list with 4 in.
Roy Powers does.
Rory Powers does a list with 4 in. Now I put Knights of the Old Republic 3 down here because this kind of felt like it was a game that was definitely getting made. First one was like a huge fan favorite. Second one didn't do as well, but people still really liked it.
Yeah.
And people, consider them as some of the best RPGs that have ever graced an Xbox console. Surely now, this was actually being made. It'd gone to like concept stage, people were doing it, but it never went any further. Surely now, though, a big Xbox One exclusive at E3, they're going to reveal this because Star Wars is probably bigger in game form. Just Star Wars in general is bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
We're going to see a massive Star Wars game reveal at E3.
I am really, really excited with what the effect is going to be with the Star Wars games, with the success of the movies.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have The Star Wars movie, huge success, and it was expected to be a success. And now we've got all these spin-off movies that are going to be coming. Now we've had Battlefront, and Battlefront, you know, there's some mixed responses, but overall, it's a great game. It's positive. We love it.
Every time I hear you say Battlefront, the only thing I can think of is that Key and Peele sketch about Liam Neeson where they're just going, Battleship, Battlefront.
And then I go, ah!
Yeah.
Lose my mind. So I'm really excited. I think over the next year, and hopefully at E3, we're going to see some big announcements with new Star Wars games. And I think that might be one of them.
I literally just said that.
Yeah, I know, and I'm reiterating.
I think we've taken this feature as far as it's going to go.